I mean, silly you. Where are your manners? Your fucking left eye is falling out of your socket. Rapers, what's this good? It's your boy Laser. He's in the visor back with another scary reaction video. He's on the scary content. So you can do that for you guys. He's reacting to top 15 incredibly creepy moments in kids' cartoons. Guys, there were so many creepy moments in cartoons. With that strain, if you enjoy scary content, you want to give us features, simply hit the like button. You subscribe and tickle the notification bell icon, bro. I stream every night on Twitch, the streams. Let's dive straight in this video. Number 15.
Grinch Night. I bet you've never heard of this cartoon before.
Grinch.
Halloween is Grinch Night.
I've heard of Grinch.
Aired on October 29th, 1977. 11 years after How the Grinch Stole Christmas. In the story, Whoville annually comes under Grinch Night, the night when the Grinch returns to wreak havoc on the village. A brave boy named 𝐬𝐴 is taken away to the Grinch's lair by strong winds.
The Reaper's lair.
To prevent the Grinch from reaching Whoville and challenge the Grinch that he can withstand what's inside Grinch's wagon.
What the fuck are those, bro? Those colored sperm cells? The fuck?
Again.
Instead of white, they're just colored?
Enjoying yourself. Take a spook's tour.
This is like a fever dream, bro. That's terrifying.
Once opened, 𝐬𝐴 is subjected to surreal and creepy imagery, with a chorus singing a haunting song to accompany. The creatures inside the wagon taunt and torment 𝐬𝐴.
That's terrifying.
As he does his best to brave the horrors around him. Monsters jump out from everywhere in order to scare him, but he remains brave and completes the Grinch's challenge.
That's terrifying.
As a result, the Grinch packs up and returns to his hideout, while 𝐬𝐴...
It's a Grinch sperm cell! Bro, the Grinch... Of course the Grinch sperm cells would look like that. Nah, but for real though, like, this is terrifying.
And Grinch's dog Max returned to Whoville, even as an adult.
Like a bad acid trip.
Within the wagon.
That's what this reminds me of.
To say the least, resembling something out of surreal nightmares people have at one point or another. Number 14.
Number 14.
Fairly Odd Parents. A show about a child fulfilling every child's dreams of having all their wishes come true. This show also showed the consequences. Timmy Turner's gerbil had long passed after his parents forgot to feed it while Timmy was away at summer camp. In the episode That's Life, Timmy becomes sympathetic when his mom's garden is unsuccessful. He wishes for everything in the garden to come to life, unknowingly realizing this meant his pet as well. Eddie the gerbil looks as grotesque as you can get in a children's show, including a partially exposed brain. He also makes horrific hissing noises and groans. Throughout the episode, Eddie goes after Timmy in some pretty dark ways. In a flashback, we get a rather disturbing visual of Eddie, so skinny you can
Hey, look at his ribcage.
see the bones outlined in his skin, and flies around him. After Eddie finds out it was Timmy's parents' job to feed him, he spends the rest of the episode trying to end them using Home Alone style traps, but fails due to Timmy, Cosmo, and Wanda stopping.
Bro, by the way, there's a theory that, like, Timmy's parents weren't actually his parents. Like, in this episode, his actual parents were the fairies, and the people here are just not, like, they're not his real parents, but the fairies, like, the odd parents or whatever, I don't fucking know.
Him.
Are they his
After
real
Timmy
parents?
Admits it was all his fault. Eddie passed. The two make peace, but as they hug, Eddie splits in half, revealing a spine. Considering how strict TV censors can be, especially in children's shows,
that's terrifying.
It's a wonder how some of these things got through. While there is nothing too extra in the episode, it still has its disturbance factor many kids still remember as they've grown up.
Very Odd Parents is such a good show, man.
The Bernstein Bears. People who follow our lists are likely to have grown up with the Bernstein Bears. The beloved children's story books became so popular, PBS developed a cartoon series Viewers of the show will no doubt remember a particular episode known as the Green-Eyed Monster. The episode follows Sister becoming envious of brother's new bicycle. The feeling gets so great
You gonna cry about it, bitch?
into the Green-Eyed Monster. A green-skinned doppelganger of Sister appears and tells her to sneak away with the bike to ride it.
This reminds me of that one episode of like SpongeBob where he has like the green side of him that like there's two sides of him. He has like that evil side on the back of him. That's what this reminds me of.
It herself.
It's like same
Unfortunately, the
concept.
bike is too big for her, and she is about to fall before Papa and brother come to the rescue. The three then chase away the green-eyed monster. The scene from the episode that sticks out to people is when the green-eyed monster climbs up to Sister's bunk with a menacing look. While certainly not going to cause too much fear for adult viewers, people have discussed how much this scene creeped them out as a kid, and how even today thinking about it brings back those same feelings.
How is that creepy? If anything, it's just what? That's not creepy at all.
Of discomfort. Thankfully, besides its creepy introduction and appearance, the green-eyed monster doesn't do much more in
How is
terms
this
of
scary?
Instead, it proved to be a valuable lesson about the downsides envy can bring. Number 12.
How's that scary?
Bimbo's initiation. A long-forgotten character from the 1930s, Bimbo was an anthropomorphic dog character of the Betty Boop cartoons. In Bimbo's initiation,
Oh yeah, twerk that ass.
first released
Twerk
in
that ass.
1931, Bimbo is wandering down the street
Twerk those
when he
asses.
falls down a manhole. He comes face to face with a group of overweight beings with dark faces and candlestick-looking hats
Overweight.
that begin urging Bimbo to join them. When he refuses, the group quickly turns on him. He is then dropped into another room. Bimbo is first forced to run on a treadmill to avoid something sharp.
This is like a
and almost
Jigsaw
crushed
type
by a
episode.
large box with spikes on it, and finally forced to pedal a bicycle that controls a hand machine. So forceful, smoke begins emanating. Bimbo also has a close call with an axe. The leader of the group is revealed to be Betty Boop, and suddenly all the members remove their outfits to reveal they are all Betty Boop. The film ends with Bimbo and Betty participating in a dance. Consider the film's content as a product of its time,
What the fuck am I watching?
since it is unlikely anything like this would air without a high rating from the ratings board.
This is like
Certainly
Jigsaw, bro.
surprising to see, and definitely nightmare fuel. Bimbo's initiation is a look into a cartoon nightmare.
Jigsaw
At
traps.
the very least. Number 11. The Simpsons. A bit of a stretch, but all of you should just admit it. You watched this show as a kid. Our viewers may believe this entry is focused on one of the
Bro, call me crazy, but like I like The Simpsons, but I never watched it, you know? I maybe watched like I always just looked at like clips and shit. I never actually watched the show like just normal, you know?
Treehouse of Horror episodes,
I know it's a good show, though.
which they wouldn't be so foolish for believing so. Those episodes definitely have their scary aspects, including the teachers of Springfield Elementary start turning children into
The show knows too
food
I'm convinced the
in
show
nightmare
dude, I'm convinced the show is made by the government, bro, with how many predictions they made though on some real shit.
cafeteria. This is a regular series episode in which something unexpectedly terrifying happens. In Lisa's first words, Bart starts to become jealous of all the attention Lisa is getting after she was first born. He also starts to deal with his crib being taken away in order for Lisa to sleep in. As an attempt to get Bart away and cheer him up, Homer decides to build Bart a clown bed based on Bart's love for Krusty the Clown. Due to Homer's not so great carpentry skills, the clown takes on a horrific appearance. On Bart's first night in the bed, he imagines the clown speaking to him.
If you should
Bart.
die before you wake.
Even adults were unsettled by the clown's disturbing laugh, but something else
Fuck
occurs
clowns, bro.
later in the episode.
Fuck clowns.
While Marge and Homer are at the hospital, Bart spends the night at the Flanders house. As he attempts to sneak out, he runs into Grandma Flanders. While waiting to see Lisa for the first time, the sounds of various lines are repeated in his head, including the laughs of the clown. The impact of the episode has led to the line, "Can't sleep, clown will eat me," becoming a renowned line not just in Simpsons history, but television history. It also reminds us of how creepy that clown was.
No, that's
Number
terrifying.
10, Adventure Time.
Adventure
By far
Time.
known for its surreal humor, which works super
By the way, regular show was better than Adventure Time. Come at me.
well. Adventure Time hosts an assortment of strange creatures and epic journeys.
Bacon pancakes,
Season
bacon,
7
bacon, bacon.
episode, The Blank-Eyed Girl has a plot more fitting of a creepypasta story than a
Creepypasta.
children's television show. While eating pizza, Finn and Jake hear a story on a radio about several sightings of young girls with blank eyes, which are believed to be spirits without souls. After returning home, they are frightened to find a
Bro, I always wanted to stay in their home. Their home just seemed like a vibe, man.
blank-eyed girl at their door who stares emotionless at them as it moves around from window to window, doing nothing except standing there and staring. According to the legend surrounding
That's
them,
terrifying.
blank-eyed girls saw something so horrible before they passed, it caused their eyes to become blank and empty, and they now wander the world searching for new eyes to replace their old ones.
Bro, this is like something. This is like. I feel like they just made this like as a reference to The Ring in a way.
When Jake begins playing music, more blank-eyed girls are attracted to Finn and Jake's home. In the
Oh,
end,
what the
the
fuck?
blank-eyed girls are revealed to be strange entities after they remove their fake eyes, heads, and shed their fake skin before floating away out the window. What's truly terrifying is it remains unknown what these beings actually were, if they had ill intentions, or whether or not they would be back. They remain silent throughout the episode and resemble Samara from The Ring, only without their hair covering their faces. Should you feel something staring at you through your window or standing at your
Oh.
door, you better hope it's not a blank-eyed girl coming to do whatever it wants with you.
Fuck that, man.
Number 9.
Fuck that.
Ghost Rider.
Ghost
Not a too
Rider.
popular kids show, nor is it a cartoon, but this is too good of an entry not to have on this list. The Ghost Rider was a PBS show about a group of kids who find a ghost.
Oh, I thought they were talking about the movie Ghost Rider. Was that what it was called? Ghost Rider? I
Who
forgot.
helps them to become better writers by teaching
It's
different
Grimace.
vocabulary, use of descriptive words, etc. The show is largely family orientated and appealed to viewers for its imaginative storyline.
Bro, she got infected by Grimace.
A 4-part episode in the last season seems to have stuck with a lot of people in the quadrilogy Attack of the Slime Monster. The character Casey receives a monstrous doll.
It's Grimace.
It is Gooey Gus,
Look at all that Grimace nut everywhere.
who spits out purple slime.
Grimace.
She enters a contest to write a scary story, and she begins writing about Gooey Gus becoming sentient. Throughout the story, Gus chases the kids around.
This is like
as
Grimace's
he attempts to gain
lost
more
brother.
power and eventually take over everything they know. What stood out for a lot of viewers is the grotesque look of Gus and how vicious he acted.
Grimace! What have you done, Grimace? Grimace, I know people didn't like your meal, your milkshake, but come on, you don't have to come at people like that. I mean, silly you, where are your manners? Your fucking left eye is falling out of your socket. Hey, look at that open socket, though. At least I can put my popsicle in there now.
Gus would engulf the kids in his slime, which would grow until the person was completely covered and, as implied by the writers, smothered. These episodes have recently come back to light after Your Movie Sucks discussed it at length in the final part of his childhood trauma series in early 2017. Number 8. Rocko's Modern Life. To Heck and Back. This show is in line with Ren and Stimpy as to how blurred the line is between children's show and adult cartoon. It's hard to decide which category it fits under. In the episode, To Heck and Back, Rocco's friend Heifer chokes on a piece of chicken. While initially ascending to heaven, he is instead brought down to Heck, where he is subjected to all sorts of horrors. Most disturbing though is when Rocco attempts to reach in Heifer's throat to remove the chicken bone, but accidentally falls down into one of Heifer's stomachs. Heifer's punishment in Heck is to watch Rocco slowly perish inside him, and then rewatch it again and again for all eternity. After the devil reveals this, he shows his true face and begins laughing in a menacing way, spins his head all around, and squirts a white liquid from his head. After Rocco manages to bring Heifer back to life and Heifer gets Rocco out of him, the two leave the restaurant, only for Rocco to reveal he is actually the devil in disguise. However, this all turns out to be a dream, but the devil once again appears, laughing and squirting juice everywhere, when it is once again revealed to just be another dream. Heifer hopefully learned his lesson about gluttony, as well as us viewers. Number 7.
No, that's terrifying,
Scooby-Doo. An absolute classic series that sees the original reruns as well as revivals. In the original Scooby-Doo Where Are You?, the monsters the gang would face off against are reminiscent of the Hammer horrors and cheesy sci-fi films of the era. While there are plenty of examples we can provide for this list, we'll keep it simple. The spooky Space Kook first aired in December 1969 and found the Scooby Gang investigating an apparent UFO landing at an abandoned airfield.
Area 51
the
reference.
Space Kook is a blue alien in an astronaut suit and a skull for a face. If this isn't unsettling enough, the Space Kook has an absolutely horrific high-pitched laugh, one which echoes throughout the episode and throughout years. The episode maintains its classic comedy,
Oh, the ghost!
including Space Kook's pursuit of Scooby and Shaggy, but the creepy factor of Space Kook's laughter and appearance amps up the tension during the scene. In the final minutes of the episode, things go even further when multiple Space Kooks are revealed. In the end, Space Kook turns out to be a farmer who wanted to scare off potential buyers so he could obtain the land cheap. Space Kook is certainly not a being we would ever wish to run into, whether a person in a costume or not. In another well-known episode from January 1970, the gang finds themselves attempting to solve the mystery of two phantoms spotted on a remote island. These ghouls wear green robes, and their faces are traditional, with extra scary added to it. Once again, their laugh is what amps up how scary they are, possessing menacing low laughter when chasing the gang.
Gang. Well, Scooby-Doo episodes always just felt weird, man. But you know what's funny is they always would just like take off the identity at the end. Like they would always just take it off. It would just be normal, some normal ass person. So I guarantee, I think this was probably just some normal person in a costume. I'm assuming. They always would just reveal them in the end.
And mysteries the gang found themselves in, there are plenty of scary moments to remember. Which creature was the scariest for you? Let me know.
See,
in
they
the
always would do
comments.
that.
Number 6. Rugrats. Imagine taking all your fear from when you were a toddler and having them transformed onto the
I never
TV
liked this
screen.
show.
Rugrats is full of these sorts of imagery, scattered throughout many episodes. For the most part, the episode contained tame plot lines with only subtle adult humor. But that's not what you're here for. In the episode, Chucky loses his glasses. There's no need to explain the plot. After Angelica takes Chucky's glasses and hides them, he has difficulty seeing his surroundings, and they begin to look like disturbing monsters. These range from gross-looking slugs to a plant which stretches its mouth wide open and unleashes a terrifying scream. Even Spike briefly turns into a horrific two-headed monster. In a rather famous episode called The Mysterious Mr. Friend, Tommy's dad builds a series of talking toy clown robots. While initially loving it, Tommy becomes frightened of his new toy after it activates in the middle of the night. Speaking in a disturbing fashion, things get
I
worse
hated
when
this
all
show,
of
man.
the other toys
I never
in
liked
the
this show.
workshop seemingly band together and march towards the babies with dark intentions.
I never liked
While
this
the
show.
babies are able to fight off the toys, Angelica appears at the end to show us her doll, adding in one last disturbance factor before the credits roll. This episode is a mixture of Child's Play and The Terminator, with the deranged doll aspect coupled with robots in numbers. Well, there are plenty of other examples. These 2 episodes have certainly had the biggest impact on our childhood minds.
No, bro.
Number
Fuck that
5,
show. Hate
Batman,
X.
the animated series. For those of us who wish to get
Batman!
a touch of dark, we would tune into Fox's Batman, the animated series.
Batman!
This show made an amazing mix of gripping storytelling with
Love Batman.
children's entertainment,
Best hero.
and it regarded as one of the best
He's with me.
Batman adaptations to date.
He's with me.
The show also helped develop backstories to our favorite characters, most famously Mr. Freeze and his tragic tale.
Bro, Mr. Freeze, like, people always say he's a villain. No, he's not. Well, I mean, like, he's an anti-hero. Is that what they're called? I think that's what he is.
A major fan favorite is the 2-part episode
With
which disfigures half his face. Dent's big reveal as Two-Face
Two-Face
is something unexpected and terrifying. The second
How do people find that? Wait, what? They say kids show? But I wouldn't even consider that a kids show, bro. That's for everyone. Bro, I would sit down and watch this at my age. The fuck? It's Batman. Doesn't matter if it's anime, cartoon. Batman is Batman, bro. They said that was a kids show. That ain't no kids show. That's for everyone. Batman's for everyone.
Number 4.
The fuck out of here with that.
Are you afraid of the dark? Okay, this one isn't a cartoon either, but needs a spot on a list of creepy kids show moments.
Is this Goosebumps?
Between this and Goosebumps,
I knew it.
Are You Afraid of the Dark was more likely to leave someone with nightmares.
It's Goosebumps.
While most episodes remain relatively tame,
Yeah.
one episode tends to stand out for former viewers. Tale of the Dead Man's Float is about a kid named Zeke who has trouble making friends.
Goosebumps was
One
so
day,
good,
he
man.
impresses classmate Clarice
I remember seeing
by
this,
showing
yeah.
her a hidden room in the school where the pool formerly was. It is reopened, but the two soon discover there is something sinister lurking beneath the water.
Goosebumps was so
The
scary,
janitor
man.
reveals the school was built on a former graveyard, and a restless soul continues to take people who dare enter its territory. Ask anyone who watched the show back in the day, and they will all tell you it was the ghost's appearance that freaked everyone out. The ghost was an all-red skeleton, with rotting clothing hanging off it, and a net draped over its head. Furthermore, the ghost was completely made of water, rendering direct attacks impossible, and also allowing the creature to enter rooms through door cracks and pipes. For any kid who was watching this when it originally aired, we can all imagine how wild their imagination.
Nah, dude, Goosebumps episodes were crazy. They were scary. That and Haunting Hour were good too. Haunting Hour was really good. Haunting Hour didn't last long. I think Haunting Hour lasted like 4 seasons. Haunting Hour was honestly like the scarier version of Goosebumps, honestly. It was both made by R.L. Stine. Like, Haunting Hour was really terrifying.
Imaginations ran of the ghost appearing.
Haunting Hour
from
was,
the
like,
bathtub drain,
terrifying,
or being
bro.
dragged beneath any pool by an almost unstoppable force. For anyone who was afraid to swim before, don't watch this episode. It may ruin any chance of you overcoming the fear. Number 3. Tiny Toon Adventures. They're tiny, they're toony, they're all a little loony. Everyone remembers
Everyone's
the
loony.
catchy theme song to introduce every episode, while remaining kid-friendly throughout. Tiny Toon Adventures had a couple episodes that dealt with different kinds of stories. Most memorable happens to
Spring?
be the horror
Oh.
of Slumber Party Mountain. The Tiny Toons find themselves in a cabin, and they find a Ouija board. During the session, they begin
Fuck Ouija
speaking
boards.
to an unpleasant spirit, which unleashes a loud growl. As they attempt to escape, they find themselves trapped by a large monster known as One-Eyed Jack. However, it turns out to be a prank orchestrated by the boys. While around the campfire, Buster tells the story of One-Eyed Jack, who was once a large jackrabbit. A mad scientist took him, placed antlers on him, and turned him into a horrific monster. After getting revenge on the boys, the girls have the unfortunate circumstance of running into the real One-Eyed Jack, a large elk with sharp teeth, and you guessed it, one glowing yellow eye. Throughout the remainder of the episode, One-Eyed Jack pursues the protagonists as they frantically flee throughout the woods. No matter what they try to do, nothing stops One-Eyed Jack's determination. Eventually, both groups find the mad scientist castle full of stuffed animals. As they attempt to escape again, One-Eyed Jack rounds them all up and locks them up. In the end, it is revealed One-Eyed Jack is simply the narrator in costume. Despite the lackluster ending, the image of One-Eyed Jack is enough to terrify anyone from venturing into the woods, with stories such as the Wendigo and Bigfoot echoing in our heads.
Hell nah, bro.
Could One-Eyed Jack also be lurking amongst the trees? Number 2. Hey Arnold. This beloved 90s cartoon was not afraid to dive into adult themes. 2 episodes in particular instead chose to take a horror approach. The first such episode was The Headless Cabbie. Arnold is at a sleepover and tells the story of the Headless Cabbie, who 100 years prior was asked by a woman to help her find her lost dog. She offers the cabbie her scarf, which he accepts, but it later leads to his demise after the scarf gets snagged on a tree and takes off his head. The kids later go for ice cream and take a shortcut through the park, where they are chased by a seemingly headless cabbie. It turns out to be
Headless Horseman vibes.
at Arnold's home. After the kids leave, a woman is picked up by Ernie, stating she is looking for her lost dog, and the episode ends with her offering her scarf to
Headless
Ernie.
Horseman
It
vibes.
is nothing compared to the next story. In The Ghost Bride, the kids recollect a legend of the titular Ghost Bride. The woman was left at the altar after her groom ran away with another woman. In a rage, she took an axe and put an end to the 2 lovers, then jumped from the window as the police arrived. She is said to still roam the graveyard humming "Here Comes the Bride" and wielding an axe. So the kids decide to spend the night in the graveyard to try and find her. Initially, Helga begins pranking the boys, only to be stalked by another ghost bride. She and the boys are forced to hide in the crypt until the culprit is revealed.
That nose is a whole
Curly,
crime, bro.
Out of revenge for him not being invited to the adventure. As punishment, the group ties Curly up in the crypt and leave him, during which he can hear a ghostly woman humming the same tune.
Oh, it should have been me.
Stories use various examples of horror content. Regardless, both these stories left a long impact on viewers
Should have been me.
well after the TV was shut off. Before we get
Number
to
one.
number 1, my name is Chills.
Oh,
I hope you're enjoying the
I'm not
video
ready for this,
so
bro.
far. If you've ever been curious as to what I look like in real life, then follow me on Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT with underscores instead of spaces. I also have a Twitter at YT_chills where I post video updates. I'd really appreciate it if you followed me, and feel free to send me a DM if you have any questions or suggestions. Also, I recently created a subreddit where you can submit videos and stories for future lists. It's r/chills narrator, and the link is in the description below. It's a proven fact that generosity makes you a happier person. So if you're generous enough to hit the subscribe button and the bell beside it, then thank you. This way you'll be notified of the new videos we upload every Tuesday and Saturday. If English isn't the only language you speak and you're interested
I speak
in a shout out,
Swedish.
click more. Then
Bajing,
add
bajang,
translations.
hung on me.
By translating the video, not only will more people be able to watch it, but a link to your channel will be added in the description. Number 1, SpongeBob
number 1, here we go.
SquarePants. This show has had its fair share of creepy moments.
Those gums are a whole crime, man. Look at them.
This time, SpongeBob SquarePants
This is one of the oldest
line into Ren and
This is like one of the most classic pictures of SpongeBob that are like disturbing. Every creepypasta has used this picture in a thumbnail, bro.
Stimpy territory. In the episode The Splinter, SpongeBob gets a large...
Fuck, I hate this episode, bro.
He can't manage
This shit made me cringe so damn hard.
to remove. For anyone who has gotten a splinter, it is easy to feel SpongeBob's struggle while trying to remove
This
it.
episode made me
As the
cringe so
show
hard.
The Krusty Krab goes on. His splinter gets worse and even starts to ooze out green liquid. Later, he makes the mistake of asking Patrick for help, who proceeds to only make the situation much worse. First,
I forgot how
grabs the splinter
bad
first
this
into
one was.
SpongeBob's thumb. When it swells up larger, he pours garbage on it, only for it to turn purple and ooze even more.
The veins
At
are
the
so
end of the
unnecessary.
episode, SpongeBob's thumb is swollen, red, and oozing green pus. After Mr. Krabs removes the splinter, all the liquid from SpongeBob's thumb pours out over Mr. Krabs. Viewers of this episode have discussed how...
I forgot how big of a legend Mr. Krabs was in this episode, bro. Bro, like, everyone hates Mr. Krabs for being cheap. I mean, shit. That boy's just trying to make money, bro. I mean, you can't blame him, you know?
Gross the episode turned out to be, it is something completely unordinary from other SpongeBob episodes, which usually rely on the bizarre humor the show is famous for, rather than this type of imagery. For those with a weak stomach, they might wish to give this episode a pass.
Damn, it's crazy. Well, guys, this video, I hope you enjoyed it. Guys, those videos were absolutely scary as shit. If you enjoy scary content, you want to see this feature, you know what to do. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!